my levels of positivity are irritatingly high. One of those annoyingly positive people who just seem to have their dial default setting set and locked in to positivity. And you might be tempted to think that I'm just naturally a positive person, or perhaps I've managed to make my life situation as such that it's just easy to be happy. And it would be easy to think, yes, well, if I had my life situation set up, or I was just a naturally positive person, then I could be positive and happy too. But I'm kind of different, and yeah, things just aren't right. So for me, the dial is set more towards the negative. Well, I've had a back injury for the last 4-5 weeks now. Really quite painful. And it stopped me from jogging, it stopped me from running, and it stopped me from doing a lot of my work that I was doing previously. So naturally, you can imagine that this starts to twist that dial a little bit more towards the negative. And you might think, just because I recovered from depression and anxiety once, now it's just completely gone, it never comes and bothers me. But I feel that same shadow knocking at the back door when these things start to happen, when life situations start to creep in. That old negative tendency starts to kick in. But there is a trick. There is a trick to it. All you have to do is recognize every day is a new day, and that you can only work with what you have on that day. And this is why I can wake up with a smile on my face, because the attitude is, what do I have to work with today? Not what did I have to work with yesterday, or what will I have to work with in the future, but what do I have to work with today? What are the tools on my tool bench that I can use today to move myself forward, to live the life that I want to live, to be the person that I want to be, to experience life in the most positive way that I can experience life. And we have to accept that it's not always going to be the way we want it to be. Because if I had that magic wand, yes, I would fix my back and I would be out running, because running is one of my big coping mechanisms, and it's one of my big things for reducing stress and anxiety and all of this. So you can imagine when that is taken away, it's very easy for me to start slipping back into the negative mindset of, well, God, it's all over then, isn't it? I'm just, it's no good. These things always happen to me. And this is when we start getting into the more sort of nasty, egoic sort of reaction. But if you can wake up every day and say, this is what I have to work with today. This is everything that life has for me. This is what the universe has for me. And I realise, well, I can't be out running, but I can be out walking. And you might think, well, that's ridiculous. You would have to be walking for hours and hours and hours to get the same benefit as if you were running. Well, roger that. That means I'm going to be out here for a very long time then, doesn't it? And the curious thing about the universe and the way it works is that maybe there are things that whilst I am running, I miss. But whilst I'm out walking, I can see. And maybe it gives my mind a little bit of space to start figuring things out and looking at things from a slightly different perspective. And so we can't always say, oh, these things happen for a reason and a positive will come from it. Maybe it won't. But you do always have the choice to accept where you're at, to understand the place you are, to understand the limitations that have been given to you, these difficulties, these so-called barriers that have been put in your way, and find your best way around them. You will only know how strong you are when you have to be. I'll say that again. You will only know how strong you are when you have to be. You find in life that we don't like to challenge ourselves. We would rather take the more comfortable road, myself included. We would rather take the more well-worn path and the one that we've always taken because we know that route. But when that way is blocked, it forces us to take a different route. to go a different direction. And when we go in that different direction, maybe we see things that we haven't seen before. Maybe we appreciate things that we didn't appreciate before. Maybe we meet people that previously we wouldn't have met. Maybe we come across things that we wouldn't have come across. So, welcome the barrier on your path, because you never know if it's going to push you in a direction that previously you wouldn't have considered. What I got for you today. Stay well out there. Take care. And it's never as bad as it seems.